So, what happens for the DCEU after Suicide Squad? Well, we know for sure there will be the Peacemaker. And can Peacemaker pick up the pieces? Of course, the news of the DCEU's demise are somewhat premature, as there are already projects in the hopper that are currently filming, that being The Flash and Aquaman 2 and Black Adam and all that. So, yeah, there's still life in it because it's too late. And God, don't try to hurry up and change course, panicking over one movie. That's what happened with Justice League. Yeah, I mean, eventually you get the Snyder Cut for HBO Max, and it was great, but that's not the way you do things. And the biggest lesson is the 11th hour changes. Doesn't work. Apparently, the Batman is being reshot again. I don't know. I don't know if people get upset saying there's no fire there. There sure is a lot of smoke, though. But anywho, for Suicide Squad, it's declared a flop and all that. And of course, there's all kind of excuses, and some have some credibility for it, but still, and it is what it is. But Peacemaker is already pretty much done. So you're going to get that series, and it could be very good. And James Gunn gave an interview to The Hollywood Reporter, and then Bounding in the Comics did 2 articles on all the good pieces. And that's why I read those, because I'm lazy. And I will link them in the description below. But in the first one, he was just going on about the WB and the DC are trying to rehabilitate the DCEU. They even asked that they wanted to shy away from that term. Did they use it internally? And he said, yeah, they do. And I guess, I don't know why, but they kept, like, Worlds of DC was another one they tried to do a while back. But I guess because when you say it out loud, it's DCEU. And the reason they had the E's in there, of course, it's the expanded universe, but still, I guess because they didn't want to just say DCU because of MCU, and they were so obsessive about we're doing it a different way or this or that, when really, no, you were trying to catch up, and you ended up doing things ass backwards, with Batman versus Superman damn near being your end game first. It just doesn't work that way. You got to establish all this stuff, and you didn't. And that's the bigger problem for it. So the idea of making it more connected and whatnot is not bad. That's a good idea. And apparently, and then you can still do your side projects and stuff, which I guess, unless the Flash movie changes everything, which it can, and especially because of its time-warpy nature, that perhaps Robert Pattinson's Batman would become the official Batman for the DCEU, and they'll merge it in. But that seems a little less likely because of the Batgirl film that's coming to HBO Max will have J.K. Simmons as Commissioner Gordon. And so they're still keeping them separate, I guess, because Jeffrey Wright's Commissioner Gordon in the Batman. So I don't know. And maybe they don't know either. It sure looks like it. But one would hope that there's some sort of management here. So he's going to do the Peacemaker series, which comes out of Suicide Squad, which has all the potential of being great. Suicide Squad didn't deserve to flop. It's actually good. And the best thing about it, it's not great, of course. There's stupid stuff. There's flaws in it. But it was fun. And for God's sakes, that's needed more than ever. And that should be the main lesson learned from it. But, depending on how they see its performance, time will tell. But Peacemaker is on the way, but there are warning signs. So the other article, he said the series will be about social commentary. Yeah, commentary on society. Yeah. Oh boy. Well, of course you can argue every show is some sort of commentary on society. So hopefully it's more of that than anything else, but I don't know. Because the thing about Suicide Squad, you could argue there's some woke elements in it, but it's so diminished that it's barely there and not worth the trouble. But in the current era, thanks to the woke, a lot of people are shell-shocked from it. So the slightest little sniff of it, and that's it, I'm out, done, and it can kill a project even though it doesn't deserve to be. So I have to assume that that's a factor in that. and why it didn't do as well. So if there's going to be a bunch more of it than there was in the movie in this series, it's dead on arrival. So the other thing is he goes on about, there's going to be a lot of action in it, very similar to the movie and whatnot. But then there's going to be some quieter stuff. And that's understandable for the nature of these shows. It's too expensive to have it like every episode will be just like the movie. It's just like you wouldn't be able to afford to do it. So you got to have these quieter episodes and whatnot where Peacemaker sits down and reflects on his life and where did it all go wrong and am I really the man I want to be? Stuff like that, which can still be very funny. But the trick is that when you have an episode like that, like there's a conversation between him and another character and that sort of thing, don't repeat the same damn thing in the next episode. That's what CW has done, and it just drains the life out of it. Repetition is death to shows. Seen it time and time again, and if there's no more ideas, time to wrap it up and end it. So this one's right out of the hopper, so it's hopefully there's still some freshness in it. But the main thing is, I think the main other character besides Peacemaker, who he says will be the lead, one of the leads, well, I would hope so, it's called Peacemaker, but will be, I guess, his boss, played by Danielle Brooks, because Viola Davis is not available for this show, so we'll get surrogate Amanda Waller. The character will be called Leota Adebayo, I'm not sure. And that's basically what, she's the stand-in for Amanda Waller, and she'll be his boss, and her politics are very different from his, so there's the conflict between the two. There is potential for comedy there, and in the right hands, and hopefully James Gunn is that, it'll work. But again, the slightest whiff of wokeness, and that's just the sad state of affairs because of what wokeness has done. It's just tainted everything. So that could doom it. If that's enough to where it pushes you out of the story, oh yeah, the show's dead. Done right, Peacemaker might even hit Mandalorian status. It's possible, and they're chasing that, Of course, if you'd just done a Batman series, and I mean a real Batman series, preferably with Ben Affleck, you would have your Mandalorian on steroids for HBO Max, but that would make too much sense. So anyway, we'll see what Peacemaker can do. Yeah, I know John Cena, not so beloved as before after he took the knee for China, and then of course James Gunn, good lord. But this is really a case where you have to separate the art from the artist. You're just gonna have to. But, James Gunn seems to be giving it his all. His hair went white during shooting Suicide Squad. But, hey, at least it's still there. So it must be a really stressful job, So, anyway, there we go. We'll see what Peacemaker can do, and hopefully it will do good. Oh, you know what would be cool? Since, spoiler, Weasel did survive at the end. What if he becomes the sidekick? Because, they can't have King Shark. I'm pretty sure Sylvester Stallone will not be available for that. So, how about Weasel be his sidekick on adventure? Oh, man. That might save the show right there. Yeah. Let's hope that happens. Thanks for watching and listening. Say, while you're still here, why not like and subscribe and share with your many friends? Yes. Also, check out my mini stores in the link description below. Yes, where you can get t-shirts, hats, mugs, all those goodies with my artwork on them. Oh, yeah. And head over to indieplanet.com and pick up a copy of my comic book, Night Night. Oh, yeah. You can also catch me at my podcast, Mr Nailsin Show, on RadioMisfits.com. And you can also watch my videos on BitChute.com and now on Rumble.com. Oh, my goodness. So many places to watch me and my stuff. Oh, yeah. And if that's not enough for you, well, you can follow me on many social media platforms and say hi to your old pal, Mr. Nailsin.